Welcome to Inside the 12. Week 7 of the Big 12 is here. He is also here. He's Taylor McHargue, the dual threat. I am Pete Sousa. So much to talk about, Taylor. We have quarterback play, by the way, that's popping again. Sawyer Robertson seems to lead the country in everything. But we're also going to take a young fella into the quarterback club, Bear Bachmeier, today.
First time really getting to dig into some of what is making Bear Bachmeier such a special quarterback. And again, a true freshman.
Looking forward to that breakdown, and I'm sure West Virginia looking forward to this bye, right? They are 2-4. Baylor is also off this week after a huge win. They are now 4-2, but those are the teams in action. Critical games right now. This is a point in the season where you really can ill afford to make any more mistakes if you're a team that is hoping to make it to the Big 12 title game. One game everybody's going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about right now, is Utah and Arizona State. Arizona State ranked 21st in the country. They go to play in Salt Lake City, where it is tough to play. 10:15 on ESPN on Saturday night. Initial thoughts?
This is a huge game, and if you're a Central Time Zone person or an East Coast person, drink some coffee, stay up late, this is the best game of the weekend in the Big 12, and we have some really good ones. We're going to talk about those later. This is the best game of the weekend. This is one of the top, in my opinion, 3 games of the entire college football weekend, and a night game at Rice-Eccles, one of the best environments in college football. We're going to find out a lot about Arizona State. Their one loss this season on the road at Mississippi State, also a tough environment. If they come out of here with a win against Utah, this is a championship caliber team like we expected coming into the season. Utah trying to redeem themselves after their just one loss of the season against Texas Tech. Massive championship implications in this game.
Devin Dampier, a Scottsdale guy, was not recruited by Kenny Dillingham, at least not recruited hard enough. Ended up going to New Mexico State as a 3-star. And now here he is. He's got everybody on notice at Utah. Kenny Dillingham was honest. He said, I should have recruited him harder.
Arizona State's going to try and make Utah one-dimensional. Try and make Devin Dampier, similar game plan that Texas Tech had, take away their ability to run the +1 quarterback run game. On the other side, when Utah is on defense, what I'm looking forward to watching most, just in terms of a breakdown, Utah leads the conference in man defense. They play a ton of man defense. We've talked about Tyson on the outside, leading receiver, top receiver in my opinion in the Big 12. Sam Levitt against man defense. He does a great job, especially if the play's not there. If he breaks contain, that's where the big plays in the quarterback run game come from, because the defenders all have their back to Sam Levitt. I'm really curious to see how Utah, that cat and mouse game between zone and man coverage, and what Kenny Dillingham and this offensive staff have cooked up. This is going to be a fantastic football game.
Well, Raleek Brown has been quick as a cat all year long, leading the Big 12 in rushing. That's someone who you can't take your eyes off of. And now it's really becoming a 3-prong attack. When you include Brown, you got Sam Levitt, and of course you got Tyson. So a huge game. And actually, we are afforded the opportunity to share a little time with Raleek Brown. Raleek Brown, there he is in the flesh. What's happening?
What's good? How you doing?
Man, it's great to have you. I'm Pete Sousa, and you're talking to Taylor McHargue, too, the dual threat quarterback. You would have loved playing with this dude, all right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the present day. You guys got the Utes coming up in a huge game. I know you're getting busy with your prep. I know you're watching a lot of tape. What are you seeing from Utah's defense right now that you know you're going to have to aware of heading into this game?
That they bring a lot of blitzes and that they play a lot of man. So it's going to be a fun game.
When you think about that, as far as like attacking a defense, which is in man-to-man coverage, how does that affect you as the running back?
It don't really affect me at all. It's just when they blitz, it's just like once you get past the first level, there's nobody at the second level. So that's a good thing for me.
Raleek, tell us a little bit about this journey for you. You obviously started at USC, and you got this opportunity moving over to Arizona State. Tell us a little bit about your journey to get to Arizona State and what it says in Coach Dillingham and his belief in bringing you over in this opportunity that you have right now.
It was good. Like I was at USC for 2 years. I redshirted my second year, and then I transferred out after my second year. And then when I hit the portal, Dilly was like one of the first coaches that called me once I hit the portal, and like he wanted me real bad. So I just wanted to go somebody that really wanted me and that I fit, and I felt like I fit the offense here, and so far it's going good.
And you talk about fitting this offense. A year ago, obviously Cam Scadaboo, he was the featured back. Now feels like this is your opportunity and you're the primary guy. What did you learn a year ago from Cam that you're taking with you into this season?
Just like the preparation of the game, he uses like watching film and taking notes. He taught me a lot last year, and then on the field, it's like the way he run the ball with physicality. So like just running the ball hard. We ain't the same type of back, but that's what I took from his game. So.
Well, you 101 yards a game, 506 yards on the season, 2 touchdowns. You are atop the Big 12 crowd of running backs. You're doing a tremendous job. But I want to ask you about how you got to Tempe. Coach Dillingham, right? He's an interesting dude. He's a different dude. What about him, popped for you that you said, man, I want to play for this dude?
Like his energy, like he was just a cool guy when he came and visited me in the portal, and he just kept it real. Like he just told me like, you're not gonna start. As soon as you get here, like you gotta fight for the job. So he just kept it real with me, and then so like that's about it though. And I could just feel the vibe though.
Yeah, Raleek, you have been a vibe this year. So keep it up, man.
Yeah.
We will be watching on Saturday. Best of luck to you and the Sun Devils on the road, man. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, stay with us. When we come back, we're taking a young man into the quarterback club. That's right. All you have to be is 18 and up. And that matters here because this kid is a freshman and he's amazing. Inside the 12 is brought to you by Hell of a Good Dip. Game on, dip in with Hell of a Good. Here we are back ready to go into the quarterback club. Now, this guy might be underage, right? By the way, that's Taylor McHargue. I'm Pete Sousa. Now we're talking about Bear Bachmeier. He is an elite company. Before we get to your film breakdown, he is the first Big 12 player or quarterback to begin his career with 5 games with 5 rushing touchdowns and 5 passing touchdowns. The first since RG3, who did it in 2008. Right there, numbers like that say this kid's an elite company already.
And he gets more comfortable every game. As the season goes along, this BYU staff has done a fantastic job with keeping him comfortable, has taken care of the football really well. Last week, a couple got away from him against West Virginia, but just the 1 interception through the first 5 games of the season for a freshman quarterback. That, along with the plays that he's making, extremely impressive start to the season for Bear Bachmeier.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the tape right here. You are going to walk us through some of these precision plays, and they take a lot of talent to make, too. This kid's good.
Well, I love this, just a single read, slant into the boundary, RPO, raise up, and look at the throw. Spot on to Chase Roberts. This ball goes for 85 yards and puts it in a spot where his receiver, Chase Roberts, gets the yards after catch. That's a huge part of being accurate as a quarterback. This is a great look at it. Reading that safety to the field, he steps down, throw the slant in behind it, and this has to be spot on. If it's behind, it may be an interception. If it's too far out ahead, it's an incompletion. Instead, it's on that upfield shoulder, right where Chase Roberts needs it, and the rest of it is speed almost to the end zone. This throw here I thought was a great layered throw to Parker Kingston. 35-yard completion. Watch how he has to navigate over one defender and between the 2 in the secondary. This is one you can see him working right to left, gets it right over that initial defender, and that accuracy, again, this is a freshman making these plays in Bear Bachmeier. I think his ability to take care of the football and hit throws like this, extremely impressive start to the season, and is a big reason why BYU has climbed up into the AP poll and starting that real conversation about being a contender to win this league.
A couple of things that I notice about him with your help is that when he is out there, he is so decisive. And it's almost as though it reminds me of like the beginning of the West Coast offense, where it's like it's an extension of your running game. And that accuracy is paramount to the success.
The accuracy and the decision making. And for a freshman, again, we keep saying this, he does such a good job when it's not there of getting vertical, pick up yards where he can. Remember, he wears 47. He's a good athlete playing quarterback in Bear Bachmeier. But when it's not there, he gets vertical. He's decisive, picking up yards, rushing as well. And then those shot plays, that has progressed and gotten better each and every week. You can tell this offensive staff putting more on his plate, and he's answering the bell right now. Really exciting stuff from Bear Bachmeier and BYU on offense.
One more question on Bachmeier, because you bring up a great point. They're starting to put more on his plate. This is a guy who was not around for spring ball, right? I mean, a freshman. Just learned the playbook so fast. Is that something where, as the season goes on, he's going to be able to wrap his arms around a lot more, and this offense could actually get better and better?
There's no doubt, and they're going to need Bear Bachmeier to do this as well, because the first half of the schedule, they've done a great job, but the challenges really start to come in conference play in the back half of the schedule. The strength of schedule gets more difficult for BYU as the year goes along, so he's going to have to continue to play at this clip and take care of the football. But everything he's put on tape so far shows me, at least, that he's ready for the moment as a freshman.
BYU 5-0 once again. Who would have thunk it? All right, now it is time for last week's game-breaking plays. Of course, they are brought to you by Hell of a Good Dips. Game on, dip in with Hell of a Good. We're going to start this one off with the Texas Tech Red Raiders on the road at Houston. Baron Morton finds Cameron Dickey. This puts Texas Tech up by 13 on the road. Hey, what do they say? Houston is West Texas. It certainly was on Saturday night. Texas Tech keeps it rolling.
We head to Cincinnati for this next play in a game where Cincinnati all over Iowa State early. 82-yard touchdown. Brennan Sorsby to Caleb Goody, who gets behind the defense. What an impressive showing from these two and for the Bearcats offense.
This, not only a great play, just a great story. Jacob Redding, a walk-on. All he wanted to do was play at Baylor. Grew up rooting for the Bears. His mom was a Baylor Bear, and this one right here, he is Papa Bear, bringing Baylor back with this pick six. It was instrumental to their victory, officially 66 yards.
We got to stay in Waco. The game winner from Connor Hawkins, 53 yards. Pete, you were there for this one on the call. What a game, a huge win for Dave Aranda and the Baylor Bears, and a great kick from Connor Hawkins.
All right, when we come back on Inside the 12, we're talking about elite skill, how that actually produces elite outcomes. Stay with us. Welcome back to Inside the 12. Pete Sousa with Taylor McHargue. You know, watching these games this year, there are stars everywhere, especially skill guys. And it feels like it's like a superhero cast, you know? I mean, it really does. And this is like an episode of Super Friends, because we're going to talk about the best skill guys, some of them, in the Big 12. We're going to start at wide receiver, right? Your best friend is a quarterback. This guy, how about Emmanuel Henderson? You've got to talk about him, the Kansas wide receiver who has not been talked about enough. The junior leads the Big 12 in receptions, receiving yards, and he's got 4 touchdowns. His long catch of the year is 93 yards. This is a guy who can make plays, take short catches, turn them into game breakers, and right here can get behind the coverage, right? Boom. This is someone opponents have to worry about.
I think one of the things for Emmanuel Henderson Jr. is he does such a good job with yards after catch. And you see almost 18 yards per reception so far this season. That's a big reason why Jalen Daniels has had a lot of success. And in that offense where there's a lot of play action, there's a lot of eye candy in the backfield, it allows 4 guys running open in wide open windows. But not just that, there's the contested windows where I think Emmanuel's done a fantastic job catching the ball, making somebody miss, getting vertical in those yards after catch. And it's a big reason why Jalen Daniels has had such a good start to the season.
All right, let's move on now. Who we got next coming up?
Bryson Washington, a guy that you know very well from last week against Kansas State, leads the Big 12 in rush yards and carries. 102 carries already this season. He has been the bell cow for this offense. 5 touchdowns on the year, averaging just under 100 yards per game. And when you factor in how much this is really a pass-first offense, the production that they're getting out of Bryson Washington is extremely impressive. And again, I know you got a chance to see him up close and in person a week ago.
Yeah, he's a guy that Jake Spavital told us early in the week. He said when he goes down, you know it's serious. Like, he's not somebody who's just like, oh, I'm hurt. Like, no, if he goes down, it's serious. He is so tough. And like you mentioned, he has carried that entire running game pretty much on his back this year for Baylor. Speaking of offense, let's go to a passing game. A superstar, Jordan Tyson, one of the most prolific receivers in all of college football. Definitely one of the first wide receivers that will be taken in the NFL draft, and his numbers speak for themselves. Leads the Big 12 in receptions, touchdowns, total receptions. He's got 483 yards receiving, and we mentioned the touchdowns, 7 of them to be precise. He's also been doing this all by himself, right? Jalen Moss has been out for pretty much all season long, and he's someone who defensive coordinators are paying all their attention to, but he still found a way.
I think that's the most impressive piece so far this season for Jordan Tyson is everybody knew how good he was coming into this season. Last year, he was the surprise. This year, Tyson wasn't going to catch anybody by surprise. You talk about with these defensive coordinators, they're going to game plan for Jordan Tyson on a week-to-week basis. And with Jalen Moss out, it's been really just Tyson on a down-to-down basis. And Arizona State has found a way to get him the ball, and they've done a better job spreading it around in the last couple weeks. Through the first 3 weeks, it was basically just the Jordan Tyson show. As this season progresses, he's going to continue to be extremely important. The element to his game that I'm always most impressed with, he's a fantastic route runner for a college receiver. I think that's going to translate really well for him at the next level.
Yeah, it certainly will. You scouts love that, as you know.
We'll move on to Cincinnati. Their leading tackler right now, Jake Golday, averaging 10 tackles a game right now. The thing that's most impressive for me about Jake Golday, it's not just the 48 tackles which leads their team, but it's every time you watch them play, number 11 is around the ball. Whether he's making the play or not, he pursues to the football. His effort on a down-to-down basis is extreme. He's so important to that defense, one of the leaders in the middle for Cincinnati, and is a true ball hawk. When we talk about pursuit drills, effort, Jake Golday is a great example of that.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who was on a couple of those freak lists before the season. He is that guy. The Central Arkansas transfer is everywhere on the field, like you said. Another dude who you can't take your eyes off of because he's always on your screen, Jacob Rodriguez. Leads Texas Tech in total tackles, 15 solo tackles, 18 assisted, 3 pass deflections, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and by all accounts, he is not only the heartbeat of this defense, he is the heartbeat of this Texas Tech team, and he's also married to a woman. His wife, Emma, is a Black Hawk helicopter pilot serving our USA. So I feel in very good hands with those two.
No doubt. You see the C for captain on his chest. He, to me, embodies what that means as a true captain of a defense. He's the quarterback in the middle. I don't know that there is a player that's a non-quarterback for any team in the country that means more to their team than Jacob Rodriguez does for Texas Tech as a whole. And on the defensive side, we just talked about it with Golday from Cincinnati. It's the same thing with Rodriguez for Texas Tech. He is so important to this unit and a true ball hawk. He's always around the football. I think that's anytime we brag on a linebacker specifically, whether they make the play or not, I'm always impressed when you watch the tape. Number 10 is flashing constantly around the football, and I think it speaks to the effort that he plays with and how important he is to that Red Raiders defense.
One more guy who would give Jacob Rodriguez nightmares, but they're not going to play this year, Baylor and Texas Tech, is Michael Trigg. 29 catches, 440 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns, and just amazing plays. Seemed like everywhere all day long in that win against Kansas State, so you can't leave him off a list like this. Stay with us. When we come back, we are digging deep into the Week 7 matchups, what you need to know heading into this critical weekend of college football in the Big 12. Welcome back to Inside the 12, a critical week of Big 12 football matchups. You see them on your screen. Taylor McHargue, what's the number 1 matchup that jumps out for you?
I think the one that I am most intrigued by, outside of the marquee matchups that we're going to talk about, is TCU going to Manhattan, Kansas, because that's a spot. We talked about all the close losses for Kansas State. TCU, they're still a team that very much thinks they are in the hunt for the Big 12 championship. That's a tough spot on the road. That one I've got circled. We'll talk about some of these other marquee games coming up, but I think that one in Manhattan, Kansas has my attention.
Keep your eye on the noon games too. UCF and a piping hot Cincinnati team. That game will be on FS1 again starting at noon. Houston at Oklahoma State. That'll be on TNT. Also starts at noon. The big matchup for Iowa State comes this week. Why? Because it's the next game coming after a loss. Is this a must-win for Iowa State against Colorado?
Every game the remainder of the schedule for Iowa State is a must-win because this was a team that had championship aspirations coming in the season. They still have those aspirations. And after getting punched in the mouth a week ago at Cincinnati, here's your opportunity to get off the mat. The guys in Vegas think that this is closer than I think a lot of people realize. This is inside of a field goal game right now, and I think that's an interesting spot for Colorado Colorado, Caden Salter in this offense, an opportunity to really test this secondary for Iowa State. Remember, the corners, some banged up injuries on the outside, and Iowa State could not stop the run against Cincinnati. I think that's an element that we'll see Colorado really try to lean on and establish the ground game. If they can do that, there's an opportunity to play spoiler against the Cyclones on Saturday.
I appreciate, you're the straight guy. You say inside of a field goal. You're like Jimmy the Greek back in the day, just hinting. It's 2.5 points. What are we gonna say? It's 2025. That's going to be a huge game. Make sure you check it out. 3:30 Eastern time on ESPN. First meeting between these two teams since 2010. We move on now. This is the game you talked about, and I really want to hear you talk about it right now. TCU at Kansas State. Kansas State, it's not a team that I would ever want to have to play in conference in the middle of the season in Manhattan. This is a dangerous team.
There's no doubt. And Kansas State, there's 5 one-score losses already this season. And when you think about a team that is just not able to put teams away late. You were just there in Waco. It's a pick 6 away from Kansas State winning this game. For TCU, the pass offense with Josh Hoover, already over 1,500 yards passing. That's going to have to be on display again for them going to Manhattan, Kansas. And for Avery Johnson, if he could put together a 4-quarter game, take care of the football, this is absolutely a team capable of knocking off TCU and playing spoiler. But they've got to put 4 quarters together. And outside of one game that they came back late against North Dakota, they haven't been able to do that this season.
Yeah, 3:30 Eastern time on Fox. We talk about your quarterback club in the Big 12. Those are 2 quarterbacks. I love watching Avery Johnson play, and who doesn't love Josh Hoover? Literally, the video game numbers. It is so much fun. This next one, a huge one in my opinion. Kansas at number 9, Texas Tech. That's 7:30 Eastern time on Fox. You can watch it on Big Fox. Texas Tech, highest ranking and best season start since 2013.
They get after the quarterback, Texas Tech does. David Bailey leads all of college football right now in pressures, and that to me is what I'm looking for in this game. Can Texas Tech, which I expect they will be able to get after Jalen Daniels in this passing offense for Kansas. On the other side of that, Kansas, can they create the explosive plays off script? I think on a down-to-down basis, offensive and defensive line play for Texas Tech, that favors Texas Tech. But for Kansas, this is a really dynamic offense, and they do such a good job in scramble drill whenever Jalen Daniels breaks the pocket. I think if Texas Tech gives up a couple of those explosive plays early, that's sort of the recipe for Kansas to come in and play spoiler. But remember right now, Texas Tech's average margin of victory is over 25 points. Yeah. They're blowing the doors off of people right now. This is a tall task for Kansas going on the road to Lubbock.
Yeah, the only team entering Week 7 in the whole country to win 5 games by 24 points or more. And I love how we're talking about the D-line at Texas Tech. That's dangerous for opponents. Huge one now. BYU, ranked 19th, at Arizona. That game's 8 p.m. on ESPN2. You think this could be a dangerous game for the Cougars?
To me, this is the biggest challenge so far this year for BYU. Outside of their road trip to East Carolina, I'm not sure that there's been a real road test so far for BYU. And we've been singing the praises of Bear Bachmeier and this team. I am very high on BYU. But I'm also high on Arizona, and this is a much improved roster and much more talented team than I think a lot of us realize coming into the season for Arizona. Another game, the guys in Vegas think, this is a close game. I expect this to be a close game inside of a score one way or the other. I think the team that values possessions and takes care of the ball better and wins special teams, all the little things will be extremely important in this game. This one to me is the most under the radar matchup this weekend. I think this is going to be a really good football game in Arizona.
5th 5-0 start for BYU in school history. Kalani Sitake has 4 of those 5 5-0 starts. That's a game you got to see. We'll be back with you next week. Cannot wait. Enjoy the Big 12 football. For Taylor McHargue, I'm Pete Sousa. Have a great weekend watching the Big 12.